All right, I think we should talk about this. Hey, everyone, and welcome to another Superhero Speak rant. I am your host, Dave. And yeah, so this week I want to talk about the future of comic book movies. And I know we talk about it a lot on the podcast, and there's a lot of different thoughts and theories out there, but I've been thinking about it a lot this week. So, well, of course, am I talking about? Is the question of, is the genre of comic book movies finally come full circle? Is it dead? This has been said a lot in the last few months. In fact, it's gotten to the point where they're now saying that the future of comic Disney, Marvel comic book movies rests on the shoulder of Deadpool Wolverine, and I think that's probably complete BS at this point. They've been doing this for a while now. They've had some hits and they've had some misses. Um, so I want to talk about that a little bit. So we have a lot of different theories on the state of comic book movies and where things are going and why some of them are failing. And my good friend and co-host JD, his prevailing theory is that people are tired of genre movies. They're tired of sequels and they're tired of genre movies. And I was ready to believe that until this past weekend and Godzilla X Kong came out, and that's what the second movie with both of them in it, the 4th Godzilla movie, 3rd, 4th Kong, maybe it might be more than that. In the MonsterVerse, I mean, there's way more movies for both those characters going back a really long time, but for this current iteration, like it's at least like the 5th or 6th movie um, in this genre, and as of this recording, um, it has made $203 million at the box office worldwide on a budget of 135. Is that, you know, the greatest news in the world? No, but I have a feeling by the time this goes up, or by the time the next weekend goes by, they're going to make even more. Everyone's talking about this movie, and it might be a dumb popcorn movie, but people are loving it and they're gonna go see it, and so there you go. The other franchise movie that's out right now is Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom on a budget of $100 million, and they have been out a week longer. They've only made 110 as of this recording, so that's not as doing as well, but yet still made more money in its opening weekend than its predecessor, but its predecessor came out during the pandemic, so or right at the end of the pandemic. So I don't know um, how to take that one. I wanted to, you know, I mean, you guys let me know in the comments down below why you think Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom maybe isn't doing as well. I mean, yeah, it's not as good of it's not that great of a movie. Afterlife was a little more focused, more focused storyline, a little bit better. Frozen Kingdom's kind of all over the place. And that's kind of gets to the heart of what I want to talk about. But let's talk about this. This has been going on for the last couple months, and the talk in the nerdosphere, the comic book and movie podcasts and websites, all talking about, oh, the genre's dying and all this stuff. And I just I don't see it. And here I want to talk. Let's talk about 2023 and the movies of 2023, right? So Ant-Man Quantumania is the movie that kicked us off superhero movie-wise in 2023. Had a budget of 275 million, so it had a in fact, I believe, yeah, it had the largest budget of any superhero movie from last year. But it made 476 million, and a lot of people complain about this movie, especially the way that Kang gets defeated uh by ants so easily in the movie. Like, a lot of people complain about it, but it still made money at the box office. Then we had Fury of the Gods, the second Shazam movie. A lot of people love the first Shazam movie. You would have almost thought that that would have been a slam dunk at a budget of 125. It only made 134 million at the box office. So a miss. Yeah, definitely can see that. I could see how people like might say, "Oh, the superhero genre's in trouble." But is it the superhero genre or is it DC? Let's go on. The next movie that came out last year, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, very anticipated movie from Marvel. James Gunn last go in the Marvel universe. Uh, Last time doing a Guardians movie and had a budget of 250 million. Again, another nice large budget. And it made 845.5 million worldwide. Another gigantic hit for Marvel. Doesn't look like Marvel's in any kind of trouble there. Okay. All right. Well, let's go on. All right. Across the Spider Verse. Okay. Sony animated Spider-Man movie. Animated movies usually don't make a lot of money, right? Though that's was proven really wrong last year. I did not include the Super Mario movie, but that made a killing obviously last year. And Across the Spider-Verse at a budget of 150 million made 690.8 million, close to, almost 700 million at the box office. That's another huge hit with a superhero, strong Marvel character that a lot of people love. Everyone liked the first movie. It's the second in that series. um, yeah, okay, still going strong. Then we come to the most, messed up movie of 2023, and that, of course, is The Flash. Highly anticipated, for different reasons. A star that was loathed by many people, and not the sorry, not the greatest, but I thought a lot of people were gonna go watch hated, as they call it, a budget of $220 million, and I kind of feel like that budget was bloated because there was a lot of reshoots and thrown in CGI in that movie, and it made 271.3 million at the box office. So if you factor in advertising for that movie, that's another miss superhero movie. But again, not Marvel, DC. Then we had Blue Beetle. Um, Movie I was looking forward to. I thought the trailers looked really good. One of the first, um, DC's first minority superhero, headlining a movie. You thought, okay, this is gonna do well. This is gonna do great. Budget of 125 million, and it made 130.8 million at the box office. So another big miss from DC. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. That movie was good. That movie was a really good movie, but I believe that Fury of the Gods, Flash, and even though it came out the year prior, Black Adam left a lot of bad tastes in a lot of people's mouths over DCEU movies. Like, let's I'm gonna get to that. Like, that's the point you gotta keep you thinking about yourself. But then the Marvels came out, a budget of 274 million, so almost as much as Ant-Man Quantumania, just a million less. Uh, Second biggest budget of any superhero movie of 2023, and it made 206.1 million at the box office. A giant failure for Marvel. So this movie fails so badly. That is what kicks off that the MCU is dead and that Marvel has got to depend on um Daredevil, sorry, Deadpool, Wolverine doing well. Huh. And then finally we end last year on Aquaman Lost Kingdom, budget of 215, and it made 434 million. Why? That was the last DCEU movie, official DCEU movie. Why did it do so well? I think part of it was the holidays and there was nothing else out, and people who like to go to the movies with their families during the holiday, and I do think that that's why it did well. So, here's the thing. Is it worth talking about DCEU failing at this point? No, it's done. It's over. There will be no more DCEU movies. The only pieces that are going to be salvaged from the DCEU and brought into James Gunn's DCU are he did say he would keep using the was it the same actor who played Blue Beetle, um, and that he would continue using John Cena and as Peacemaker. Other than that, everything else is thrown away. Like seriously, that's it. It's a whole new universe, whole new ball game, new Batman, new Superman, all of that. So, all right, let's talk Marvel, right? That's that's the crux, right? They're the big guys. They have had the most successful franchise in a long time, and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, they're dead." Oh, but one movie failed out of 3 movies that they put out last year, and then 1 Marvel adjacent, Sony movie. So doesn't look like that to me. So here's the thing. Why all this talk? Well, I think it's quite a few things, and I also brings me back to why did the Marvels actually fail? And I think there's a few reasons for that. And let's start with there's a lot of people out there who just don't like Disney. They don't like Disney. They don't like Marvel. And they're gonna find any excuse they can to tout that they're failing, you know. Of course, I talked about this in a rant a couple weeks ago. There were people who didn't even see the movie who were trashing on it, and using that old tagline, "Go woke, go broke" on it, and it's like, no. And these all these people didn't even see the movie, so yeah, no, like, no, that's not it. Like, again, one movie, missing the mark is not them failing, you know? And of course, people are talking about the viewership on Disney Plus, but they don't release those numbers. These are guesses that are people having about the viewership of the shows. So, um, I mean, yeah, you can guess that maybe they didn't do well when they're not renewing shows, but I think there's more to that as well. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes at Disney and Marvel that no one is aware of right now. Like, is there correcting of the tide? A little bit, but I don't think as much to do with people complaining about movies as they think. They had one movie that failed. Disney doesn't care. Marvel doesn't care. Do you think the Guardians, not the Guardians, the Eternals was a huge hit for them? No. Thor: The Dark World wasn't a huge hit either. They've had misses already in the MCU. So to sit there and say, I mean, if this was their biggest miss, I believe, but no, it's far from over. So I think the reason the movie failed, and I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again, is twofold. Number one, you had two main characters in the movie that were introduced in the TV shows. And there's an arrogance of believing that the Marvel fans are watching everything, but there are people who just do not have Disney Plus. So they did not watch WandaVision or Miss Marvel. So they had no idea who those characters were, and they were just thrown into that movie. And so people don't like there's no connection to them. I'll be honest, I didn't like the first Captain Marvel movie. So and I think there were a lot of people who didn't like the first Captain Marvel movie. She's they're when you talk when you see interviews with Feige and people at Marvel and they act like, "Oh, she's the big bad savior of the MCU. She's the new big heavy, like everyone should love her." She was in one movie by herself and cameoed in um Endgame. Like there's not and a couple little end credit scenes. She's not a developed character and her first movie was not that good. So that's part of the problem too. They are hanging their hat on a character that doesn't have appeal, right? And Yes, here we're gonna get to the other argument people are making. "Oh, they've killed off or all the characters they care about are gone." That's so not true. Marvel has yet to do movies with the big guns. The X-Men, they are their top tier comic for a long time, them and Spider-Man, and of course they have Spider-Man. The Spider-Man movies have all done well, they're gonna continue to do well. I know there's weird negotiations going on, but they'll figure out how to make a Spider-Man 4. It's not like, that's not that ship hasn't sailed, and let's be honest, if, if anyone who's involved with the Spider-Man movie, if Andrew Garfield not Andrew Garfield, if Toby not oh my god, um, wow, I'm having a brain fart as I'm doing this. The actor who plays Spider-Man, um, hold on, I'm gonna look this up real quick, and it is, of course, Tom Holland. Wow, I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. Um, see, you can tell I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't have something pre-written. Tom Holland. If Tom Holland decides to walk away from the role, which he won't, but if Tom Holland decides to walk away from the role, they're not going to be done with Spider-Man. They'll find a way to keep him going with another actor. It's just the way it is. Um, and then of course the Fantastic Four hasn't been done great yet, and I believe that's going to be another huge movie. People don't understand comic book wise. They actually started with characters that were considered middle tier for Marvel, right? For a long time. They haven't yet actually used their big guns. They're gonna start using their big guns shortly. It's not over. It's gonna be retooled. There's gonna be changes to how they're doing things, but that's far from over. And then, it also comes down to something that my other co-host John says a lot, and I think he's right on this one. Economies of scale. Um, they gave us so much Marvel content when they started doing the shows on Disney Plus. It was supposed to be like 1 or 2 shows, um, to keep it interesting and to keep things connected. Then the pandemic hit, and they went crazy and put out a bunch of shows that didn't feel connected to the, MCU, and Disney was giving marching orders to just keep creating, keep creating. Things got disjointed, and we didn't know what the right hand and the left hand were doing, and it feels very disjointed. They have set up so many threads that they have not, uh, paid out on yet. Of course, we're gonna be getting the Thunderbolts, so, I kept saying Dark Avengers, but, now we know it's the Thunderbolts, so we're getting their version of the Thunderbolts, but I know they've been setting up the Young Avengers for a long time now, and they have yet to pay that off, really. We get one after credit scene in the Marvels where, Miss Marvel goes and recruits, uh, Kate Bishop. So, hopefully, that's gonna pay off to something, but who knows? Like, we don't know what's going on, and of course, all the Jonathan Majors, Kang stuff has gone crazy, and I feel like they're still trying to decide, so but I think that's gonna get better because there's only one Marvel movie coming out next year, and that is, of course, Deadpool Wolverine. Like, you're gonna miss what you haven't had by the time the end of, uh I'm sorry, this year, this 2024. By the time this year ends, people are gonna be miss what they have. We all know that this movie's gonna be a hit, um, and so will the talk of Marvel and movies being dead be done at that point? Probably not, but because again, there are people out there that are jealous. We live in a world, um, where the internet the people who complain the most with the loudest complaints are the most heard, and they might be in the minority, but because they're the ones online on their, Twitters and their Instagram posts and their TikToks saying, "Oh, Marvel sucks, Marvel's dead," then that's all people are hearing. So that's what they believe is true, and I think that's one of the things that's gonna hurt them in maybe a little bit in the long run. when they don't have things coming out as much, they're holding back at the moment, and all people are hearing is that it's dead. When stuff does start coming out again, people might be hesitant to go see it. We'll see. I don't know. I do think that the people who are saying the MCU is dead need to shut up because they don't know what they're talking about. It's still making money. One movie failed last year, people. That's it. That's it. They're still making money. Buku bucks last year on their movies. So yeah, no, no, it's not dead. Um, but if you disagree with me or if you agree with me, either way, let me know in those comments down below. What do you think the future of the MCU is going to be? And also, while you're here, why don't you click that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming great content. Check out superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast, comic book reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Keep an eye on this channel, though, here on YouTube, because we're going to keep pumping out great content for you. So, yeah, I've ranted long enough. This is a long one for me, but yeah, that being said, again, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, until next time, don't let your cape get caught in the door. Thanks for watching.